Okay, all right, all right. Down to like my last ladder. So let's give this one a the good old try with the team that I've been talking about here. This is the only other team that I really wanted to use this season. I used it like once before, but that was like a failing attempt. But that one had Gale Force, and this one's more offensive in nature. So this one should do a lot better combat-wise. I still have Miracle on Nino because she ramps into it so easily, so I figure why not. And I think like in the long run, she'll probably perform a lot better with it as a special against Fjorm because she's only missing the kill by like 7. So after bonus season, it should be a little bit easier to take out dual Fjorm with Nino and triangle attack. That's really why this team is here. But aside from that, it's nice to have something that I can actually take on here. All we got to do is take out Felix, which hopefully Chrom can do. I haven't tested it. Well, in the sense that in practice, I haven't really used this team outside of like a few practice attempts and the one run against an armor ball, which isn't going to chase. This is in some respects a hit and run team, but unfortunately with Felix around, everyone's a little bit it makes it a lot easier for the enemy team to chase you down, especially when he has the Celica ring. And then on top of that, Ather here is going to give someone an extra action. Although it should only be Gatekeeper because he's the only one with an assist. And then there's Peony, who is more than likely going to dance whoever the unit that's locked is. I don't know, but that shouldn't be too crazy. So the goal here is just to take out Felix. And I'm sure that, I hope that Chrom can do it with some support. And then from there, we're going to back out and take our time just breaking this apart. It should be pretty straightforward once Felix is gone because he's the biggest threat. Yep, that's about what I expected. Don't have a pre-charge special. I think even if I had the special pre-charge, it probably would be even less damage. So our hopes are to double Felix somehow, either with triangle attack or just getting the debuffs on Felix from a dance from Plumeria, which is what I think I'm probably going to do, because I do need to reposition out of here to just do the actual hit and running.
I'll do it.
That aside, it has been so stressful. Today has been a lot. Literally lost 6 ladders in 5 ladders really in one day. That's so crazy. But yeah, it is what it is. I think we're gonna be, or at least I'm gonna be okay. Since with this match and one more, we should make at least tier 38, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. My biggest concern is how far down does Gatekeeper get? He shouldn't be able to take out anyone, but I don't want to risk it. And also, I think there's going to be the warp potential with Nurgle, so I got to be careful of that as well. So ideally, I think it's probably best to move Nino. Even though I also want to make sure that I get triangle attack on at least some of the units here for the following turn. Chrom can always get it, so I need at least 3 units to have it. So we're going to move Nino, and then well, at least I think that might be the best play. I don't know. Maybe this. Anyways, I did some testing in the interim, like just between some of the matches, and I was just tinkering with Erica, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I gave her, like, you would have seen her with the Phantom Speed. She does a bit better into Emblem Celica, but I don't know, man. It's still too close for me to actually want to recommend that. I think I'll look at some alternatives for improving Erica. Like I said, I still want to tinker some more with her and see where I can get her to in terms of just being able to outspeed things. Her aside, I don't know what type of teams to build. The problem is the problem is you need to be able to take things out, and like everything has gotten so bulky that it's just so hard. And it's 2 mythics. The majority of the mythics are primarily support units at this point. The best ones I want to say are Plumeria, because she's a dancer and she gives the debuffs. And then Jimbro is really good, but then there's a lot of lulls. Like Amelia here has a lull as well, but he's very good. I like the stat buffs. That's fantastic. And then there's also, I want to throw Ashera in there, and then I also want to throw Summoner Baby in there as well. Hater, whatever she's called. I want to throw, so there's like 4 mythics that you can potentially use just for like getting extra support and overall damage output. I think if my Ashera was a little bit more invested, she could probably perform a lot better as a combat unit, but I'm just not getting the tune out of her, so that's quite unfortunate.
I'll do it.
But 3 mythics aside, Plumeria aside, we have Dual Strike and just damage from Jimbro. So
I've got this.
I feel like I'm already using one of those mythics
This will be
in Jimbro, and then the other one would be Summoner Baby, and that would leave me
this way.
with a spot that Peony's in. So just rounding out the team, Plumeria and Jimbro, maybe one other mythic, wherever that might be. So that's 3 slots left. In those 3 slots, I have to bring someone that can either tank Felix, or let's say it's an Omni tank. The Omni tank has to be able to tank everything.
On my way.
So let's say the Omni tank is like Ike. Ike has to be able to tank everything by himself, and also I'd have to bring some type of support so that Felix doesn't warp in behind. So that's another slot, which means
Right there.
I'm down to 1 slot left. So
My
that's
warmest greetings.
who's that last slot unit? It has to be someone that supports the Omni tank, which makes them better in some capacity. In Ike's case, it would more than likely be someone that can probably help him against AoE damage, or someone that can help him ramp into a special,
This way?
even if
This
there
way.
is Hush Spectrum.
This will be fun.
So those are the 2 options there. Looking at that, like, let's imagine having a picture of it in my head. That's not a very good team. I mean, I could probably drop Summoner Baby for another support unit, but that brings Ike's overall health down to like 50 something, 54. In my situation, it'd probably be like 54,
On my way.
which is not ideal. He, as a tank, the more health, the better. He's more likely to survive if he has more health. But then I could replace that support slot, that mythic slot, for like, let's say, Sedith, who is the answer to pretty much every problem, but I don't want to re-bless him for every season. That's really annoying. But still, I feel like that's not the best team, because then if you're looking at someone like Makaya, who inflicts that debuff, the Discord, that kind of works against Ike in the sense of in-combat stats, he's more likely to die in a situation like that, which I have those in my replay. It just doesn't work out for Ike. So let's swap out Ike for a different Omni tank. You're looking at Gold Mary, Tamara, or... Well, I'm not going to make another Sita team. So it's either Gold Mary or Tamara. I'm not adding Erica in this because I feel like she falls into the same category as Marth. Brave Marth, which is if she gets hit, she pretty much dies, and also she's just not fast enough. I'm gonna work on that, see if I can get that to make sense. But for now, it's pretty much just Tamara and Gold Mary, who I gotta say, man, after her banner, when her banner first came out, Gold Mary, I was not high on this unit at all. I thought like her weapon was a big nothing, and then she didn't really have anything aside from Lagu's friend. But I gotta say, she's aging fairly well. The debuffs that her weapon, can inflict, actually, it's pretty stacked. It does a ton for her, and then when you couple her with like support unit, she performs very, very well. So I'm very high on Gold Mary. I actually wish I actually merged some more of the copies, but that's for like a future banner, that double special, whatever the case may be. I'm probably going to merge some more on Gold Mary. But then the Tamara, I feel like she needs at least both combats to take out Tamara needs both combats to take out Felix, because if she's getting the Sandstorm off, whichever hit, Felix is gonna survive because of Gust and Excel and just overall damage reduction.
This will be fun.
Unless there's some external support that's giving her more damage output so that she can break through Felix on the first combat. But typically Felix survives that first initiation against Tamara, which means that he can go around and hit someone else. So it's difficult to omni-tank that with Tamara, as opposed to Gold Mary, because Godlike Reflexes doesn't really trigger like that. Gold Mary typically wins in the first combat once she doubles Felix. So I was considering giving Godlike Reflexes to Tamara. I don't know. I think if I'm not mistaken, she has Slain. But Slain doesn't matter for Lagu's friend, it still works. So Tamara's attack isn't high enough for the Godlike Reflexes to really make sense, I feel, in comparison to Gold Mary, who actually has an attack stat. So I feel like the edge is towards Gold Mary in that regards, but I already have Gold Mary in Light Season, so I don't want to move her. But if I had to, that's probably what I would do. But like, just looking at my other options, there really isn't anyone else. I've been thinking about like Asker, and I don't know. He kind of ties with Felix, and that would really mean I'd have to bring Gatekeeper, because even though the bulwark is there, if Felix has Silica Ring, he can still warp behind Asker, and then that's a whole problem. So I would pretty much have to bring Gatekeeper or Legendary Murs win season, so that's no go. Yeah, definitely Gatekeeper. And that's like not a well-balanced team, I don't feel. So it would be, I think, Asker with all of those stats, like Jimbro, Asker, Plumeria, Haythrun, Summoner Baby, Gatekeeper plus one other unit. I feel like that's almost an okay team, which I'm probably gonna test out, because I kind of like this Asker. I kind of like him. It's just like, is he gonna survive? It's kind of like my worry, because he'd have to play the Omni Tank role, and ultimately the question is going to be, is he better than Ike? Wouldn't it make sense if I just ran Ike instead? Because I would have to also give him Lagu's friend, because of course, naturally, it's just going to perform better, I feel.
This will be fun.
I mean, it's close, but it's still overall better. And I also have to like change the special and everything. It's a whole lot of investment just to make Asker work, and then also he doesn't have the null counter disrupt thing, which so far I haven't even mentioned, because that's a whole lot of other things to like add on to like what the unit can do. So I feel like there's just no options when it comes to Omni Tank aside from the ones that I've mentioned, but I'm already using them, which leaves me to running saves, and
your orders?
It would mean that I'd have to use someone other than Amelia. Unfortunately, or unfortunately, I realize that like the majority of the units, the save units in my barracks, are either blue or green, and I didn't have a red save unit. So this like Halloween Adun is actually a fantastic pickup for me, because it covers a slot that I didn't have anyone in. Aside from, like, I want to say way back when I had, when I was actually using Valentine's Henriette as a far save, but she just can't do that anymore. So this Adun is actually a really good option, but like I've just been like doing some testing, or like even from the video you could see the trailer that she just doesn't perform very well as a far save, so I'd actually have to give her Hardy Vital. I think that that's a requirement to make her work properly. And that's kind of unfortunate because it takes away from her killing power. Granted, she will survive more things, but if she's gonna get like quadded by Bernie, you probably don't want to bring that team. But
Always ready.
that's 2 save teams in a single season, and that feels like cheating. I mean it's a win more thing, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to do that. But I probably will because I don't feel like I have any other options. I mean, we're gonna have Chaos Season in between, so then there's gonna be the banner before the next Astra Anima. So hopefully there's gonna be something on that dagger banner that excites me. But man, feels like slim pickings currently when it comes to building teams. I don't know, man. Let's see what happens. GG's.